Monday morning, March 8th. Appreciate y'all checking in as you always do. And I'm really honored by having this time with you guys because I know I spend a lot of time talking about policy and I spend a lot of time talking about reentry. And not all of you have a chance to listen to this or take the time to listen to this. So it's a different part of me that I kind of share with folks here. And one of the things that I try to share here are some of the tools and techniques that I used to get past the barriers of being formerly incarcerated, the barriers of depression, the barriers of drug addiction, the barriers of feeling like I was less than. One of the things, or as I've talked about, is the law of attraction. And when I learned about the law of attraction, I was listening to a lot of Kevin Trudeau. And Kevin Trudeau has a seminar called Your Wish is Your Command. And in this seminar, he talked about Henry Ford. Now, I wasn't, a huge fan of Henry Ford because I grew up with a father that was old enough to remember kind of the less desirable aspects of Henry Ford's character. Anyway, one of the things that stuck out to me about Henry Ford was everyone had convinced him that there was no way we would ever leave horse and buggy, that there was no way that it was possible to put an engine on a buggy. And the only one that kept telling him that he wasn't crazy was his wife and his mother. So if it wasn't for his wife, we'd still be possibly riding buggies, even though we know that he wasn't the one that invented cars. We also know that, but we know that he was the one that mass produced them, right? And so one of his mottos, if you will, one of his sayings, one of his quotes is, if you think you can or you think you can't, in both instances, you are correct. It is the thinking that makes it so. If I believe I can or I believe I can't, my thinking is what makes that so. Now, when we decided to run for office, and I announced publicly through a Facebook post, the immediate reaction was, you can't do that. When we were given the opportunity to quit, we had every reason, and people wouldn't have felt bad if we didn't try it. But I knew in my heart that we could change the perception of former incarcerated people and people that have been negatively impacted by the American criminal legal system if we put ourselves in the line of fire. Now, we may have gone first, but we put others before us. And it was the thinking, because we thought we could, we were able. Now, there was plenty of opportunities and there were plenty of people saying that we couldn't, just like there's people telling you that you can't, just like you continue to tell yourself that you can't. And as long as you tell yourself that you can't, you're absolutely correct. But the moment you tell yourself that you can, you begin to prove yourself correct as well. Because it's the thinking. And that's why, when I talk about the law of attraction, that's what, as I was sharing last week, positive thinking helped me believe I could. And that belief in the possibility, I just had to figure out that it was possible. The how will come later. If I believe I could, then I can. And so this Monday and for the rest of this week, I want you to focus on, what you think you can do. Don't worry about, how you're going to get to it. The how will work itself out. Just know that you can. And if you can, your thinking will make it so. So for this week, test yourself out. Every time you come up against something you feel like you can't do, convince yourself that you can, and then let itself figure itself out. I promise you, when I came home from prison, I didn't know how to edit video, but I knew I could. I promise you, I didn't know how to run a campaign, but I knew I could. And because I knew I could, I became able. And and here's what's the crazy part about it. The better you feel about being able to, the faster it comes. It'll blow your mind, I promise you. So anyway, Monday morning check-in. If you haven't done so already, press like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate you spending your Monday mornings with me. We're going to do this every Monday. I'll see you next Monday. Have a good one.